Alright, hey, what's up? It's Matty Marshall, and this is the On the Couch series of interviews here at Planet Eclipse. We're at the 2010 PSP World Cup. Lucky enough to have Ryan Greenspan, Team Dynasty, one of the legendary players of the game. Ryan, so you guys have you've had an on and off year. You know, you've had some success, had some riding
a little bit more towards the off, but
a little bit more towards the off.
We've been on a couple times.
Yeah, you've been on a few times. Huntington was one of the highlights. That was
in the U.S., you know.
In the U.S., yeah.
That was, it was a good way to start the ball rolling right there.
Yeah. How did that feel, kind of? You know, you came in 2010, had some changes on the team. You guys have been doing this for so long. You're constantly having to reinvent your motivation. We'll get to that in a minute. But talk to me about Huntington Beach. How was that?
You know, we came out there, and it's like always the hometown that kind of gets you going and stuff like that. And we were kind of just cruising along, and we had the guys that were playing well. Alex played phenomenally up there, you know, and we had some ups and downs during the event, and we pulled a lot of games back, but we ended up playing Impact, who's been, you know, up there.
Phenomenal. They've been great this year.
You know, and they're killing it this year. They've been killing it. You know, they have everything in motion now. They're a great team, you know, which is why we're actually, on top of all that, just lucky enough to be able to pair up with them over in Europe.
Yeah, and that worked great this year.
Yeah, it's part of our up.
Yeah, championship.
Up and downs, you know. That's
count it, championship.
There it is. There's no one. But yeah, you know, we played against them, and you know, we had a great event, and it just kind of things were going our way.
So now, as far as then, you know, but X-Ball, you guys didn't really do as well as you normally would like to. What was the problem with it?
You know, we had so many. It's really hard to say what the problem is with X-Ball because we had it down, we had a system, and you know, we did well last year. We never do well in World Cup, but we haven't lately. But coming up to it, we've always had a rhythm, and we've been doing well. We were in the top 4 every time, and then we missed the Sunday twice, and then I think in Phoenix, I don't even know what we did, but I know we made it to Sunday, but. I honestly have no clue what's going on. I don't know if a lack of motivation for some people. I think some people were just on the team and they're just like, you know what? I'm stoked. I'm starting. I'm gonna try. You know, maybe it's not my hardest. I like to think that it is, but a lot of people were trying and it just wasn't working out. And you know, there's a lot of finger pointing. Our coaching is kind of like gone through the big transformation.
Yeah.
And it's like went from one person.
You've been bringing a lot of guys in. Yeah.
And it just hasn't quite been working very well. You know. But then we came to World Cup with pretty much a revamped team. We picked up 2 new guys. We got a new coach, Hinman, who pretty much is a kind of like don't take shit from anybody kind of thing. So which is kind of what we need. You know, we need to get people to put people in their place. And on top of that, he has heart, and we need to get that fire lit underneath some people. Like, you know, I know coming into this event, it was like I'm gonna go through the motions and I'm gonna try my hardest because I hate losing. You know, we've never been in the position of like going back home and being like, yeah, we didn't win, or yeah, we didn't make Sunday, or this and that, or flying home early. We've never really been in that position.
Yeah.
So I hate that, and I know that everybody on the team does, you know. And then, but Mike came in and was like, kind of like kicked everybody in the butt and was like, yo, you know, fix yourselves.
Yeah. Well, Mike's, and I honestly, I think that's a real smart move for you guys because you're an intense personality. Alex is, Davey is. I mean, there's a lot of intense personalities, which is why you guys have been successful,
right?
Ultimately, but at the same time, to have a lot of Chiefs. And I mean, it's rough sometimes because you guys aren't shy of telling if somebody messed up. You're like, hey, you know, what the hell are you thinking, or what the hell are you doing? And sometimes that can be counterproductive. Now,
most of the time on our team,
most of the time it's counterproductive. Now you got Mike to come in, and I think he's going to be able to fight fire with fire, check that a lot, and I think that's really going to help you guys out. Plus the fact that Aftermath no longer exists, so personnel-wise, I think you guys are going to be able to cherry pick next year. As far as who you guys are going to want a team, who's going to be able to make the team.
Yeah. And
that's kind of something I really want to talk about because that's something I mean, there's been some things said about it, but you know, we are facing a reality where you're going to have, I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. I don't think, you're going to retire soon. You've had some injuries. And everyone is as you get older. Alex, Davey, Yosh. I mean, these are guys that have been playing for a long time. What's the mentality right now? I mean, are we going to see some retirements, or is that still yet to be figured out? Who's the new blood that's going to come on? Or where are we at with that?
Well, as far as new blood and stuff like that, we're not sure. I think with Mike, he's kind of been he's now going to be the guy who's like, listen, Dynasty, stop being nice guys to everybody. This is what we're going to do. We need to fix something. We're going to have an open tryout. There's going to be 15 people there, and the best 10 are going to come, and the best 8 of those guys are going to play. And that's what we need. We've always been the guys who are like, let's just kind of let it work itself out. And if we start winning events because the guys are stepping up, then cool. We're gliding through there and winning those events. And a lot of times lately, and even last year, we've been winning events by some people just doing miraculous things and just playing like.
Out of their heads.
And you can't really win events or win seasons like that.
You can win events and you can win games, but you're not going to win those championships and not the really big events.
Right. So I think that we're going to get a lot of new, fresh blood, because Alex is tired of running to the snake off the break,
Yeah, you lost Angel, so now Alex has to go into
so
the
Alex
snake.
is doing it. He'll do it just because he knows he can, but it's like, man,
he's good at that.
But he's injured. He's missed 3 or 4 events just because he's been injured. Like you brought that up. Yosh is injured, like he's just sore, and a couple of these guys, because we've been just battering ourselves on the concrete and the turf for 10 plus years, and it's unforgiving.
Yeah, very unforgiving. Especially now everyone's spoiled having grass to play on all the time. Not all the time, but more often than not.
Right.
And back in the day, it wasn't like that for you guys, So.
Right.
Now, if you had your pick of guys that are out there right now, who'd you want them to?
There's always that talk about Oliver coming back to our team. Obviously, I would love to have him, but we're getting through the season on the skin of our teeth, just on our budget as is, and you never know what might come up, but he'd be a great person to have. J-Rab is just devastating. I think it says it on his beating. Self-proclaimed.
You gotta let
devastator.
everybody know.
You gotta let everybody know you're a devastator. It'd be great to have those 2 guys, because. Again, we have more talent, and then J-Rab is pretty, young and fresh, except he's got it. He knows exactly what's going on. You don't need to teach him anything. We've come into a lot of the events where all right, hey, I know you guys have been playing for a while, but maybe you should try holding your gun like this and facing those guys. But it's a lot of times we'll go to start seasons over, and a lot of times we're teaching people some of the new guys or whatnot. Obviously they're great players, that's why we pick them up. But a lot of times we have to go over some of the things that we take for granted, I guess. But it's always good to pick up players that know what's going on, or someone who's so fresh that you're like, bam, get in there. Like the Ironman's mentality the last few seasons. They're like, all right, scrap it, toss everybody. We're going to pick up these kids because they're all under, they're 18 to 20. We're going to pick all you guys up. We might lose for half the season, but we're going to start placing, and then next year we're going to start winning.
Yeah.
They can do that, but we haven't gotten in the mentality.
But it's confusing because there's logic to both of those. Right. It's just really tough to kind of figure out exactly which road you're going to go down, especially with the situation you're in right now, too. And then also you have a situation where it's local. Are you guys going to go local? Are you going to continue to fly guys in? I mean, is that still to be determined?
Yeah. The traveling thing is still to be determined. It depends on what our budget is.
Yeah, that has everything.
And I mean, we've been fortunate enough to have great sponsors that stand behind us, through thick and thin. I think they've benefited from it as well. But depending on what our budget is and who we can get and what all that what all the expenses are, we'd love to be able to fly guys in because we'd like to grab talent from all across the country. But if the talent's is local, we'll take it. I mean, there's a talent pool of all the Aftermath guys, who was obviously a great team. You grab the best guys off their team, the best guys off our team, and the best guys, where we can grab them. Like I said, the 15, 20 people show up to practice, 10 of them are going to the event, 7 of them are playing.
Yeah.
And I honestly, that's what we need, and I'm glad that we have back to the coaching thing.
Yeah.
Because we have a coach that's going to be able to make those decisions. Be like, listen, where were you at practice? You either didn't show up or you just didn't show up to play.
And you have to come practice. You can't just big league the team and be like, oh yeah, well, sorry, this practice.
Well, and especially now, we have so few practices because back in the day when we were winning all those events, we were doing every weekend was practice. If we were at an event, we had like 4 or 5 weekends off the entire year. But that was when we were getting a skid of paint per practice. You know, we were shooting 50 cases a day.
Yeah.
You know, over the weekend. Now we're down to splitting 50 cases for the entire weekend, which I know to a lot of people watching is like a lot of paint and everything. But when you're trying to compete on the professional level, if you don't have the means to support the entire team and practice as much as you can, it hurts you, and it shows with us.
Oh, absolutely. Now, are you guys going to do Europe again? Some sort of united, combined team with, you know, maybe Impact or, and then the 2 leagues in the United States.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Our plan has always been to play all 8 events in the U.S. And then the last 2 years we've split the costs and split teams, which has worked great for us. Mm-hmm. You know, we've been winning over in Europe. You know. Yeah. And you know, so that way it splits the cost. That way everybody gets to go over there and has a chance. You know, but if you know, going back to that, if you look at the teams that are winning, you know, the Russians win. They're dominating. They're a great team. They only play 4 events. If we put our budget into 4 events, I think we would do a lot better. A lot of these teams are choosing one of the 2 leagues to play in, and they're focusing their attention on that. And there's a few teams, like I said, Damage, us, and Impact, who are spreading themselves pretty thin, and it you know, it can show. And I know if you ask any of those teams, they're like, yeah, it's tough to compete in both leagues and have 100% focused on each league.
Oh, absolutely. And then also, you personally, I mean, you are all over the place. I mean, as you know, well, no, you come home and then you're gone for like 2 weeks, and you come back and you're gone home for a week, and then are you going to continue to kind of jaunt around the world and do your thing? I know you're headed to Australia for 3 weeks coming up here pretty soon to do a bunch of clinics.
Yeah, I like to stay busy, and any off time that I get, I may as well. It's either I'm sitting at home or I can go, you know, promote and you know, do clinics or do whatever I can somewhere else. And so it's cool to have the sponsors help behind us, and you know, that way, because they're getting what, you know, they're paying for us to represent their products as best as possible, and it's great that they're actually using us now more so to be like, hey, listen, we need you down here, we need you to go here. You have an off weekend, let's send you out here, do some stuff, do as many clinics, do whatever you can, you know, just promoting your brands, and that's what we're here for.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my
smart.
job.
Yeah, it's not like they need to make you paintball famous already. You know, might as well use that money to send you down somewhere so you can help.
And I mean, we're obviously already at the event, so any extracurricular stuff that we can do is just going to help them tremendously.
Yeah.
And I'm all for that.
Yeah. All right, so Ryan, thanks a lot, man. Looks like you got a lot going on here in 2011. So check out big moves from Team Dynasty. They pick up Mike Hemmon as a coach. Possible drastic player change in the offseason. Maybe not. We'll see. Who knows? And then obviously you got to check in with Ryan Greenspan on his Pearl travels for 2011. 4 different continents.
I have how many other? Yeah, all.
Just go to Antarctica, I think.
I know. That was a plan of ours a while ago. Not to play paintball, just to go down there. Just that would be every single one, but it's too expensive. We're paintball players.
Yeah. So check out Dynasty. Check out Team Dynasty in 2011.
That's the show for today. Thanks a lot for watching, you guys. Next week, we've got Cat Shack's 30 Days of Night. You'll meet our newest correspondent and segment producer. Also, we'll have Artifact number 5, part 2. Don't forget, you can help us out by donating via PayPal to Frogskins at PBLive.tv. We're on Twitter, twitter.com/PBLive. YouTube.com/PBLive TV, and the BunkerPB.com hotline 626-593-5472. You Annies want to know how to get sponsored? Here you go.
Nick Cube from Team Infamous here. And Goose from the Gravediggers. We're here to let you know how you can go pro in 2011 with Empire Paintball. What do I gotta do? Well, what you gotta do is you gotta go to empirepaintball.com. You gotta fill out the form. You gotta click on the Go Pro banner. And then you gotta fill out the application. That sounds pretty simple. It's just that simple. So if you got the heart and you got the love for the game, check it out. Go to empirepaintball.com, February 7th. Do it. Do it. Jack and Coke. Do it. Waka waka.